Alright, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. I guess, what do you think of the state of, electronic music today?
Well, I think electronic music is the most genuine form of music you can make. So in that respect, it's very healthy. It's oh dear, hang on. Hello?
Hello?
Right, you're still there. I've just dropped the phone. That's right.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, I think it's the most genuine form of music you can make. So in that respect, I think it's in a very healthy state, and it's beginning to communicate like no other music has around the world, which is very positive.
Yeah. Do you use mostly analog or electronic equipment?
We use whatever we can get our hand on, basically.
Oh, yeah?
We've got a very abusive attitude towards sound and equipment. Whatever falls into the studio, whatever we can nick.
That's cool. How did the Amorphous Androgynous project affect the direction that the band was taking?
I don't think... yeah, good question. We're control freaks, really, so in terms of, like, things changing our course of direction, I'm not quite so sure about that, because that was actually quite a measured step.
Really?
We basically sacrificed that album so that Virgin around the world could market research the area that we wanted to go in, because we thought that Virgin knew fuck all about it. And so that was kind of like a sacrificial offering so that they could get some knowledge.
Huh. So like when you first went into recording music as a profession, you had planned on doing something like that then?
Doing something like Amorphous?
Mm-hmm.
No, not at all. That's quite a hard question. That makes me sound like I should... It was all mapped out from day one, which it wasn't, obviously. It was quite a scatty process.
All right. Let's see. What kind of non-musical influences do you have?
Non-musical?
Yeah, I mean, like, do you read a lot, or...
Oh, I see what you're saying, right. Yeah, I guess our whole philosophy of life is pretty similar to our philosophy of music. It's kind of like things fall into your web, like sound falls into your web. You know, books get given you, you happen to catch a film. I don't know, it's like everybody else, you know, you catch what you can.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a bit of a mess, you know, you're always behind because there's so much happening. And, you know, we're just kind of like, we're just receiving a small part of what we should, and we're experiencing just a small part of what we should be experiencing. So in that respect, yeah, we're quite limited, but we try and be as diverse as we can in all forms of stimulus, whether that be gallery spaces, friends' houses, books, whatever, you know.
I mean, like specifically, what kind of stuff do you think has had like a large influence on like the way that you did your music? Like was there something? Can you think of like maybe something that you read once that affected the direction that you take, or the approach you take towards music? Or maybe like
I guess our approach towards music is by assuming that we're idiots and we're not particularly talented. So in that respect, what inspired me to write music was picking out the moments of brilliance that other people came up with, and that basically means the whole history of music. And I guess in terms of what we're doing now, in terms of radio shows, I guess that means also the whole history of film as well, because you can go into a really bad film and you can find the most poignant speech you've ever heard. So, you know, we take that and incorporate that into our music, or we take one sound which is in a very bad track. I mean, by that philosophy, that means we can't ever overlook or ignore any music that we don't like, because there might be an amazing sound in there, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
And similarly with books and with films, you know, we're basically, we're kind of like these sort of electronic librarians that collate and collect sound and collect whatever's being broadcast in any media.
That's a cool analogy. So do you think that everyone? I mean, the way you said that you think that you call yourselves idiots. Do you think that that pretty much anyone is capable of producing like
Not sure. No, I'm not sure. That's a very difficult question. Probably not. No.
Really?
Because, well, I mean, I think it's a very, very hard thing to make good music because there's a whole history of music and there's a whole history of dealing with music, and we're all very, very learned now. I think, you know, so much time has gone by in music history that we're very, very aware. And I think the most honest thing that Brian and myself have ever done is to say, you know, look, that's been done. We're being, you know, we're being idiots.
Yeah.
Because we are. That's what we're doing. We're kind of like regurgitating it and pretending not to, and pretending to be very original. And we're not really. I mean, we're trying to be. But if anything, that is the most positive thing I think you can do these days, to say, I'm not original. But beat yourself up, which we do every day. We beat ourselves up to try and make better music. And I suppose relating that back to your question, I think that's why most people aren't capable of writing good music, because most people are not prepared to go through that extreme paranoid, neurotic, self-questioning phase that we go through every day. Because most people want an easy life, and I'm not sure how much I want this life, you know. I mean, in terms of writing music, which I have to beat myself up on. I mean, by that, I basically mean that we try and we don't like what we naturally write. We're in search of the unnatural, the moments that we're not bodily capable of, you know. We want to go beyond the level of our personal limits, and that's a really, really horrible state to go into, to be quite honest, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish it on anybody.
What about drugs? I mean, what have they had any effect on your music at all, or?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, in the fact that I've dabbled with virtually every drug conceivable, but
I mean,
and I'm not into like sustained use of drugs. I mean, I think the most effective drug I ever took really was hot knives,
Right.
which completely changed my perception of myself and me, but really scared me. You know, music became a very scary thing. It was an ugly monster basically, and I didn't like music. It became so analytical. Time used to drag, and I couldn't appreciate the sheer beauty of sound anymore, and that was bad. So.
I think I didn't actually read the interview, but a friend of mine read an interview with Alex Patterson where he said that most of his music was just from drugs, and that he didn't actually feel that it had any depth at all.
Right.
What do you feel about that? I mean,
about our music having the depth.
No. I mean,
about music coming purely from drugs.
Yeah. Do you think that's still valid as music?
No, because I don't take drugs. So I write my music in completely the opposite state. Like a horrible sanity, I would describe it as. Too sane. Acutely aware of my surroundings. That's how I write music. And I guess that's what our music's about. You know, it's not about tripping out and, you know, escaping. I mean, it is a form of escape, but it's a form of escape by ridding yourself of what's inside you, you know, which means you have to be acutely aware of what is inside you and what is around you. So I would say our music is a very paranoid and micro look at the world around us, and not space.
So would you say that your music has sort of a dark side to it, I guess?
I think it's getting a lot darker, yeah. I
Yeah.
think the music we're writing at the moment, I mean, we've obviously finished the Future Sound London album, so again, there's been a drastic change in direction.
A friend of mine called Lifeform. He said that it felt really organic to him.
Right.
Do you think that this? I mean, is this like a conscious thing, or I mean?
No, I guess it depends what organic really means. I guess from my point of view, it's got to be the most organic album that I've ever heard, because I think it represents a very extreme collection of sound from every corner. So, you know, not only with real sound, but I mean, the way the society's going, you know, I mean, all sound is coming into your home and into every piece of apparatus you go out with in digital quality. So you're always collecting sound. So Brian and myself are always behind our library duties.
Can you think of an event that had a very large effect on your life? I mean, like what event had...
Yeah, my dad telling me that I would never make a living out of music, I suppose.
Really?
Yeah. That was a pretty good one.
What effect did that have, do you think? Was that what made you go into music, or one of the things, or what?
No, I guess...
I mean, I assume you were already into music.
I guess he made me fight him from quite an early age, sort of mentally. So that was the ultimate sort of coup, to earn a living from music, having been told you couldn't, and to not be a genius, because I mean his attitude was that I needed to be a genius at playing music, and he would have known had I been a genius at the age of about 3. He had this very cockeyed look at talent and music, and I guess that was a fairly important one.
What do you think is the appropriate listening stance for your music? I mean, where do you think it should be played, I guess? Where do you feel like it's in its correct place, or
in complete isolation, I think.
Really?
Probably. Yeah.
You think it should be listened to like while someone is alone?
Yeah, or maybe traveling around with headphones, because it's headspace music, and it is music for. So I mean, I always like matching things. I mean, that's what our music's about to a certain degree. I like, putting a different soundtrack to life. That's basically what our music's about, So if you wander around, get on the underground, and listen to it, I like that too. That's a good place to listen to it.
Yeah. What about at raves, in like the ambient rooms at raves? I mean, did you ever go to raves at all, or?
I've been to a couple, but
really?
Certainly not that. No.
Because it seems like a lot of raves, at least here in the U.S., a lot of them lately have tended to have a second room with usually music without beats, and they play a lot of ambient type stuff.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, we're really not interested in that direction at all. We've completely never got involved with it.
Right.
Because basically we've got very solid ideas about what we want to do. Vision, etc. So I mean, we're beginning to break into those areas at the moment in here. We've got a radio tour on Radio 1, which is going out to millions of people. We're basically doing a live gig from the studio to Radio 1, who are then broadcasting across Europe and across England. So that's going to hit a couple of million people, and it's our first ever gig. So it's quite an appropriate one, that we're not actually standing on a stage and twiddling buttons, which I think is quite a boring face of electronic music.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the areas. And the other area, obviously, is that we've just finished a 7-minute film, which is, for the first time, we've actually got access to the video gear that we've been looking towards for the last couple of years, which is silicon graphics. The stuff that Jurassic Park and stuff was shot on,
wow.
Which I think is going to become a very, very creative medium over the next 2 years. So those areas, so that's getting shown on television and et cetera, et cetera. So I mean, by 8 months' time, we will have a 55-minute movie. So maybe cinema, a very, very bizarre, abstract cinema dedicated space with an appropriate sound system, surround sound and what have you. So they're kind of the areas that we're going into.
So you're taking it into a sort of a multimedia type thing, right?
Yeah, ultramedia.
Yeah, that's cool. Are you? What about like virtual reality? Something like that is.
Well, virtual reality obviously is the. I think we've all got a sort of a virtual reality consciousness.
Yeah.
I think none of us are really totally aware of what it's going to bring, because the sort of helmet side of things hasn't been totally brought up to scratch yet. So, in the meantime, I think we're going to have a whole host of sort of pre-virtual reality sort of products, which kind of hint at that aesthetic without actually needing to put on a helmet particularly. Because it's like CD-ROM and all these sort of new formats as well. I mean, they're not really at their most creative yet because they can't really handle what we've spent years trying to achieve in terms of our video work. In terms of real-time rendering and graphic capability. But we are actually getting involved with a new video game, which is going to absolutely blow the lid off the computer game industry in '95 because the graphics are stunning. They're up to the quality that we're achieving on Silicon Graphics, and the sound is CD quality.
Well,
So for the first time, I'm interested in computer games because up until now I've always thought they're very, very mundane.
So how is it that you guys are getting involved with the computer game? Are you doing the sound for
We're
it?
doing the sound, the whole philosophy, the whole game.
Wow, even you're doing the graphics too?
Yes. Well, I mean, you'll see the 7-minute film when it comes over, I expect.
Wow.
It's quite impressive, actually.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, we're doing the whole. It's basically a whole new philosophy of gameplay. It's not based on shooting them up or, that kind of thing. It's kind of it basically fits in with the FS12 philosophy that I've just sort of run by. All the things I've talked about.
So
it's a very psychological game, veering between sheer beauty and sheer terror.
So, what sort of? I mean, how will the video game be accessed? I mean, it won't be like an arcade game, will it? It won't be like you pop quarters in like outside the movie theater, will it?
Well, the thing is about that. I mean, you never know where it'll end up. I don't know. I couldn't really argue for that. At the moment, we're just dealing with our side of the format, which is basically a new console that's going to come on the market next year. That Sony are developing.
Wow, that's cool. Well, that's really impressive. I thought. I mean, I knew that you guys were doing like film stuff, but I had no idea the video game. That's really impressive. What do you think is what do you think needs to be changed in the direction that ambient music is taking now? I mean, as a whole genre. I mean, do you think it's got problems? And what do you think?
I can speak about in terms of our music, or the whole. You're asking for a scene evaluation.
Both.
Right. In terms of our music, what we've been trying to achieve with Lifeforms was a listening entity that didn't involve tracks. I mean, we achieved it kind of 70%, I think. Our idea was to try and lose our egos, and if we'd written a track that lasted 5 minutes, but it got boring after 30 seconds, then just use 30 seconds of it, and then go into something else. So it was a completely non-linear listening experience. I'm quite excited by that, but I think we need to get more dynamics into it now. By which I think we're actually getting back into beats, but it's a kind of a new kind of beat, not based on dancing. It's a very intricate listening type beat that kind of stimulates your mind, I suppose, rather than your feet. Basically in terms of its programming, so we're kind of fiddling around with those kind of areas at the moment. In terms of ambient, I mean, like any scene, like any mechanism that springs up, you get a whole host of problems. And the positive side, I mean, it's quite a positive thing in that I think it genuinely sprung up out of a desire from people to hear it, but like dance music, it becomes rotten, and dance music is rotten to the core in this country, which is why we moved out of it, because people were earning livings, and we try and threaten our livings every day by questioning what we do, and I think people become very scared about music and mechanisms moving on because it threatens their livings, So in terms of that, I think that's probably happening with ambient as well. So of course we're against that.
What about dancing? A lot of people think that dancing brings about like physiological changes, or at least chemical changes.
Yeah, it makes me cringe all that.
Yeah. So you don't like dancing?
That whole philosophy makes me really cringe. I'm sure it's true, but I'm not sure.
What about? I don't know much about it, but I've heard about something called ambient dancing, which I guess is dancing when there isn't a beat.
Well, no, I mean I like dancing, but I guess it's a kind of a private thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just a repressed Englishman. I'm not sure. Yeah, I just don't like metronomic dancing. I guess particularly.
What about celebrities?
Sorry.
I have. Well, this is just sort of an idea that I had, but let's see. This is difficult to explain. It seems like. God, this is really difficult to explain.
No, go on.
With the way like techno is, or at least most electronic music is mostly faceless.
Right.
It seems like the idea of celebrities is almost contradictory to that.
Mm-hmm.
in that like it seems to me like the people who create the music are this is really difficult to explain.
No, I'm beginning to understand. Well, I do understand exactly what you're saying.
It seems like although they can produce special music, and the way you talk about people having moments of genius, it seems like they're just normal people mostly. I mean, how would you respond to that?
Who are normal people? Sorry? Just electronic musicians or everybody?
Just electronic musicians, I guess.
Electronic musicians are normal people as opposed to rock and roll stars, celebrities. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, do you have...
No, I think electronic musicians, in order to be good, have to... Well, I think any musician has to really question himself and what he's doing and not get sucked into just... I mean, this theory I was talking to you about earlier about just doing what you naturally do and being happy with it, yeah? We're not happy to be us and to do naturally what we write, so we try and change ourselves every day. It's a very difficult thing to do. I mean, in terms of that, I can only speak for myself. If that makes me a more genuine person, which I think it probably does, then yeah, I'm not a celebrity. But in the other sense, what we're trying to do is we're trying to actually get a new face for our music, which is probably why we've come across as slightly faceless. Until we've got that, which is to be ultra-media, to be audio-visual. I mean, these words that have been bandied around since the 80s, I think, for the first time, are actually becoming feasible this year, and over the last couple of years. I think we're going to achieve something that doesn't require us to stand out front and be celebrity egos, and I think we'll achieve something. It's in terms of film and sound and audio-visual cinema, which hasn't really happened yet. In terms of the sound and the visuals being equally as important, so I'm willing to take a back seat for that.
What else? What about social change? Do you think? I mean, like, what do you think are the biggest problems in the world today? Hello?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's alright.
What would be the probability then of spelling in this travel set by chance the theory of evolution? Well, it would be calculated by multiplying 1 in 27 chance of getting the first letter times 1 in 27 times.
I think, from my side, looking at the atoms of society rather than the whole thing, I would say our attitude probably doesn't help particularly. In that society has now become so learned that basically you have the situation like ours where we're very, very critical. We're just critics. Everybody has become, I think in your sort of mid-20s, you just basically become a very good critic. Criticizing yourself, criticizing absolutely everything. And I think that's kind of eating probably away at society to a certain degree. I'm certainly not helping, I don't think, because I basically don't like people. I can pick faults in anything. I can pick faults and find what's rotten in absolutely everything. And I actually see that attitude sort of sweeping across the country, not in just me. So from the atom upwards, that attitude is becoming endemic. In terms of politics and stuff, I don't really get involved with those particularly. Unless it's sort of social politics.
So, wow. Did you ever have, I mean, before you actually ever expected to be interviewed, did you ever have something that you wanted to tell people about at all?
Not really. I'm not sure. You see, I'm really trying to be me, but really this isn't me at all.
Yeah.
So probably hopefully another side of me will come out one day, which is probably away from the techno bracket. I seem to get asked a lot of technology questions, which kind of sits slightly ill at ease with me and what I'm like.
You're not a very technological person, I guess.
Well, I am. Of course I am, but I have an abusive attitude towards technology. I'm not obsessive about it. Basically, if it's in the studio, I'll use it, and then I'll move on. It's a kind of, so take me away from that environment, and probably I could say a hell of a lot more. I think probably the technology environment is becoming an extremely unhealthy one, but I am consumed by it,
Well,
as are an increasing number of people.
how do you think it's unhealthy? I mean, the technology.
Because I think it teaches you to be a control freak, and I think we are the worst control freaks that I personally have ever met, and I think the industry is finding it very, very difficult to put up with us, because we are this very, very new form of subversion. And it's a subversion that basically needs to be completely in control of absolutely everything. It's like we did photo shoots for front covers over here, and we basically walked out because we couldn't hand over control to photographers, because we knew how we wanted to look, and we do everything. You know, I would write this interview if I could, because whenever anybody gives an opinion about us or writes about us, I always find it ungenuine to what we're about, and I guess that kind of attitude we apply to everything, you know, which is why this kind of like, you know, ultra media, photo, you know, images, text, you know, everything comes from here, and it's a complete control obsession, and I guess that is an unhealthy state of mind.
Actually, is there any way you could write this interview?
I'd rather not.
Oh, I'm just checking. That was a nice idea.
Because I'm trying to cure myself of the illness, you know. I would like to, but I'm trying to cure myself of taking control of every area around me. Because at the moment we're finding that it's a nightmare, you know. It's like we're doing radio shows, we're doing images, we're doing front covers for magazines, we're writing interviews, we're writing books, you know. It's like we're cutting up our own interviews for radio. It's just, you know, we're making films. And, you know, music is fast becoming sandwiched out. It's only like a small part of what we do, and it's quite frightening, actually. So, yeah, I mean, I would love to. But you know, I'm under instructions from my physician.
Really?
Not to.
Huh. So, how is it then that you want to come across? I mean, as you're so, I mean, God, this is really difficult. This is my first interview, just so you know.
No, it's okay, you're doing fine.
I'm not like a...
Just wondering what you're thinking of me, really. You seem to go, quite a lot when I say something. Am I confusing you, or the mentality you're not comfortable with, or?
What's that, interviewing?
No, my mentality.
Oh, no, it's just, I don't know, I guess I'm just kind of nervous. I'm starting a magazine, and I didn't expect to be doing as much writing as I ended up. And it's very interesting to be able to do it all.
Yeah, I mean, you have a strange profession as well, you know, a profession that I've come across quite a lot, and I've kind of analysed you guys as well, if I can lump you into a bracket for a second, and, you know, again, you get people that try and write about things they believe in and try and forage that, or you get people that write about what they know they can sell, and, you know, it's a very difficult profession, and I guess you're going to have to go through a lot of self-questioning as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Sorry.
There you go again.
What about the Real World label, Peter Gabriel's thing? What exactly is that project?
The idea there actually is to set up a small studio, and during his Real World week, where he gets musicians from around the world, and he basically records about 15 albums for the Real World catalogue, we would be fed a constant stream of sound, which we'd be free to write tracks with, which is the perfect... Cause, I mean, normally, you see, we have a library which is vastly overstocked. We're basically very behind on... We're very messy, you know, because we have like about 500 hours of sound or something, you know, and we've got to go through it, and it's becoming a lucky numbers game to write music these days, because you basically pick something and you go through it, and sometimes we wonder if we're actually choosing a sound out of laziness or because we really have looked hard enough, because we have this huge library, you know, it's too big, and it'd be quite nice just to work off the sounds that we're fed. So that's what that project is about, basically.
So are you remixing it or what?
No, we'll just be fed sounds, and we'll basically be writing tracks, new tracks out of all the sounds that we're given.
Huh.
A mixture of, I mean, I guess that kind of applies to the way we remix as well. You know, it's like with a Brian Ferry track, all of the sounds were bad apart from some overspill which came from his headphones onto his vocal track. We started basically with that sound and built a track around it. I mean, that's our attitude to music, you know. And Robert Fripp, when we remixed him, we asked for the whole album of sound because not one track was good enough in terms of its sound source, and we just recollaged all the sounds from the album into a new track. You know, so that's the way that we'd be approaching that.
Actually, I just remembered what I meant about the celebrities thing. Somebody said that kids were walking around and getting the same haircuts as Richard James now, kids in England, and they were like you know, trying to find out what brand clothes he wears and stuff like that.
You've got to be very wary of press and stories there. You know, it's basically, if you see what's happening in this country, basically, the music industry is desperate to retain the celebrity status, the mystique of the celebrity. And what's happening now is there's quite a few electronic bands that are getting the celebrity treatment, ourselves included. We're getting front covers of magazines like we've never done before. You know, major pushes, I guess, because I guess people want celebrities and people like people. But, you know, quite quickly gets to the point where the story is being made up, and there's quite a few about us too.
Yeah. So how would you react if you discovered that that kids wanted to wear the same brand of clothes that you wore, or wanted to you know, buy the same shoes that you wear, or something like that?
I believe we're talking about evidence for an intelligent creator. The lady mentioned it along. It certainly is true that brain, just like every other part of the body,
Sort yourself out.
one of the things I think about so often are the children that
Yeah, sort yourself out, mate.
and lack a detergent in their lungs, pretty much like dishes. And because of this, they
Okay, well, I'm pretty much out of questions.
Okay.
it turns out that the
Let's see, is there anything that that you feel about yourself that you would like to get into the interview, I guess?
in water, you know how the two surfaces would clink together.
No, I don't like really to say things unless it's provoked.
Oh, all right. Oh, actually, I had another question. Do you ever have any recurring dreams or anything like that? Like
If we have which is necessary
Uh,
like a really fantastic dream?
to keep this water locking up.
Yeah, I used to dream about my dad flying against a bird in a bird cage years ago. But every time I have a dream, Brian actually analyzes it 'cause he's a great lover of dreams. I dream quite a lot about what we're doing these days
Really?
and different sides of it. Yeah. But yeah, that was quite watching my father flapping against a fence and not being able to get out under floodlight. There was a big floodlight. It was
Do you think,
pretty weird.
does that have an effect on your music at all? I mean, dreaming about it? Like, well, with just dreaming about it. I mean, does it affect the process of writing music?
No, apart from on a really mundane level, I guess.
Really?
Puts me in a bad mood in the morning, and I'm coming in and writing music in a bad mood because I mean, I guess moods do spill over from dreams, but as I say, it's kind of like extreme sanity that we write our music under.
What would you say is your favorite piece that you've done or remixed or whatever?
Lord of Light Lutheran Church in Chesterfield is hosting a community-wide prayer breakfast
Yeah.
in conjunction with the National Day of Prayer.
None of it really. I see the problems.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see the good points.
Do you have?
I guess Mountain Goat actually, on Amorphous Androgynous.
Do you have a favorite piece that someone else has done, or do you?
I tire of music quite quickly and move on and
Really?
come back to it. Yeah, I mean, I like bits of loads of things. So, you know, that's the way. We pick bits, you know. Yeah, I mean, I come back to stuff. I mean, at the moment, I'm not sure. I don't have a... Music's kind of boring me at the moment. Whenever I hear it, I hear
Does that
falseness a lot of the time.
does that have something to do with the going along with the, I mean, switching to video? And
Probably, yeah. I mean, I'm quite tired of looking at walls and writing music, so that's why we've got an edit suite here now, and we're working on silicon graphics and stuff. So
do you
it's
think
quite an interesting period of not actually writing music for walls, but writing it towards visuals and back and forth.
All right, you ready?